Ambassador of Azerbaijan to Bangladesh, Elchin Hussainli, called on Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at the State Guest House Jamuna in Dhaka today. The upcoming COP29 summit in Baku, energy, trade, business cooperation and a planned air services agreement between two countries were discussed during the meeting. Professor Mohammad Yunus is expected to join the COP29 summit at the Azerbaijan capital, where the participants will mainly discuss the thorny issue of climate finance. Ambassador Hussainli stressed deeper trade ties between two countries, with Baku seeking new opportunities and ways for opening up doors for more businesses. He said a foreign office consultation between two countries was held in Baku in June. Azerbaijan has sought to sign an air services agreement with Bangladesh, he added. Chief Advisor Professor Yunus called Azerbaijan a good friend and sought increased business and trade between the two nations. He recalled his long relationship with the Azerbaijan people, its leadership and universities. The government has decided to limit tourism in St. Martin's Island in Cox's Bazar during the peak season, aiming to protect the country's lone coral island from environmental pollution caused by growing tourists. Chief Advisor's Deputy Press Secretary Apurva Jahangir said this at a press briefing at Foreign Service Academy this evening. He said tourism would be limited in 4 months: November, December, January and February. He said tourists will be allowed to visit St. Martin's Island in November, but they could not stay in the island during night time. In December and January, Apurva Jahangir said 2,000 tourists could visit the island per day and they would be allowed to stay at night. He said tourists will be totally restricted in February as the authorities will clean up the island during the month. In the rest of the year, tourists can go to the island, he added. During the briefing, Deputy Press Secretary Azad Muzumdar was present. The demonstrators who gathered in front of Bongo Bhavan demanding the resignation of the president have postponed all programs till tomorrow afternoon. In the evening, spokesperson of Inqilab Moncho, Sharif Osman, said all programs have been postponed in view of the assurance of the government to hold a meeting with the leaders of the protesting Inqilab Moncho at 5 p.m. tomorrow on the issue of the resignation of the president. Earlier, the activists of Roktim July 24 gathered in front of Bongo Bhavan from the afternoon demanding president's resignation. Then they started a human chain program. From the human chain program, they announced a sit-in program there. Leaders of anti-discrimination student movement has called for implementation of 5-point demands, including banning the existing constitution and resignation of incumbent president Mohammad Shahabuddin. They also demanded banning of Chhatraleague. The leaders of anti-discrimination students movement made the demands at a student people mass rally at Central Shahid Minar today. Among others, coordinator of anti-discrimination students movement Sarji Salom, Hasnat Abdullah Abdul Hannan and convener of Jatiyo Nagorik Committee Mohammad Nasim spoke at the program. Speakers at the rally urged the BNP Jamaat as well as right and left-leaning political parties not compromising in the existence of Bangladesh to build unity against fascism.
সকল ফ্যাসিস্টের দোসরকে একটি কথা স্পষ্ট করে বলে দিতে চাই, আবারও যদি প্রয়োজন হয় আমরা আমাদের চোখ দিতে প্রস্তুত, পা হারাতে প্রস্তুত, রক্ত দিতে প্রস্তুত, এমনকি আমরা আবারও আমাদের জীবন দিতে পর্যন্ত প্রস্তুত। কিন্তু ওই ফ্যাসিস্টের দোসর ছাত্রলীগ, যুবলীগ, আওয়ামী লীগ নামের যে সকল সন্ত্রাসীরা আমার ভাই বোনদের রক্ত ঝরিয়েছে, অবৈধ গুলি চালিয়েছে, তাদেরকে প্রতিহত করতে আমরা আমৃত্যু প্রস্তুত থাকব। সংবিধান বাতিল সহ বিভিন্ন বিষয়ে 5 দফা ঘোষণা দিতে চাচ্ছি। আমাদের প্রথম দফা যে সংবিধানের মধ্য দিয়ে চুক্তি বলবৎ রয়েছে, অর্থাৎ মুজিববাদী সংবিধান, 72-এর সংবিধানকে অবিলম্বে বাতিল করতে হবে এবং সেই সংবিধানের জায়গায় 24-এর গণঅভ্যুত্থানের প্রেক্ষাপটে নতুন করে সংবিধান লিখতে হবে। আমাদের দ্বিতীয় দফা দাবি, এই সপ্তাহের মধ্যে ছাত্রলীগকে সন্ত্রাসী সংগঠন হিসেবে চিহ্নিত করে বাংলার মাটি থেকে
আজীবনের জন্য নিষিদ্ধ করতে হবে। আমাদের তৃতীয় দফা দাবি, যেহেতু ৭২-এর সংবিধানকে যদি আমরা ধরে ফেলে দিতে পারি, তাহলে চুপ্পুই আমাদের এমনি শেষ, চুপ্পুর প্রদার থাকে না। তাহলে আমাদের তৃতীয় দফা দাবি, ফ্যাসিবাদের সংবিধানের যে পশু রাষ্ট্রপতি চুপ্পুকে এই সপ্তাহের মধ্যে পদচ্যুত করতে হবে। চতুর্থ দফা দাবি, অভ্যুত্থানের এই যে স্পিরিট এবং জুলাই বিপ্লবের স্পিরিটের আলোকে ২৪ পরবর্তী বাংলাদেশ বিনির্মাণে এই সপ্তাহের মধ্যে নতুন করে বাংলাদেশ রিপাবলিক ঘোষণা করতে হবে এবং সেটির ভিত্তিতে এই প্রক্রিয়েশন অফ রিপাবলিকের ভিত্তিতে এবং বাংলাদেশে বিদ্যমান গণতান্ত্রিক ক্রিয়াশীল রাজনৈতিক দলের মতের ভিত্তিতে ২৪ পরবর্তী বাংলাদেশ পরিচালিত হবে। সর্বশেষ এবং ৫ নম্বর দাবি, গত ৩টি যে ইলেকশন ছিল, আমাদের ১৪ সালের ইলেকশন, ১৮ সালের ইলেকশন এবং ২৪ সালের ইলেকশন, এই ৩টি ইলেকশনকে অবৈধ ঘোষণা করতে হবে।
Later, a procession was brought out from Shahid Minar which terminated at Raju Sculpture of Dhaka University. A protest procession was brought out today at Mukdamanda in the capital demanding trials of forced disappearance and murder committed at Khilgaon, Shobujbagh and Mukda areas during the regime of fascist Awami League government. BNP chairperson's advisor Muazzam Hussain Alal was present at a rally ahead of the protest procession organized by the families of the victims of forced disappearance and murder. Leaders of Dhaka South Shechasevok Dol, Mohila Dol, Shromik Dol, Chhatra Dol and the victims' family members addressed the rally. The speaker said the government has formed a commission to find the people who were forcefully disappeared. BNP hopes that the victims' families will now get justice. The speakers also called upon the families of the victims to complain to the Disappearance Commission. Urging the youths of anti-discrimination student movement to remain vigilant, the speaker said that associates of Awami League are conspiring to create instability in the country. Later, the protest procession, which started from Mukdamanda, concluded in Maniknagar. This is a story about a martyr of anti-discrimination student movement when the whole country was already heated up following one-point demand of the then government's resignation. The movement was moving towards ultimate goal. Just one day before, Naim participated in the procession of Student People movement. He was injured in police firing at Ashulia on August 4. The next midnight, Naim died while undergoing treatment. His parents had many dreams about Naim, but his dream was shattered following the police firing. Naim's father is a madrasa teacher and his mother a tailor. His parents made last phone call to Naim on August 4 afternoon. The parents became perplexed at the loss of their son. Naim's relatives and neighbors could not bear the shock of such death. They demanded exemplary punishment of the culprits. They also demanded financial assistance and employment for the helpless parents. The Appellate Division of the Supreme Court has issued directive to revive the appeal of Jamaat-e-Islami to regain its registration as a political party. The full bench of the Appellate Division, led by Chief Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed, gave the order today. Barrister Ehsan Abdullah Siddiq and Advocate Muhammad Shishir Munir took part in the hearing on behalf of the Jamaat. On August 1st in 2013, the High Court cancelled and declared illegal the registration of Jamaat-e-Islami. Later, on December 7 in 2018, the Election Commission issued a notification scrapping the registration of Jamaat-e-Islami. Afterwards, the Jamaat appealed against the verdict of the High Court. In November last year, the 6-member Appellate Division, led by the then Chief Justice Zubaidul Hassan, quashed the appeal, terming it dismissed for default, as the main lawyer for Jamaat could not take part in the hearing. Now international news. At least 40 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks throughout the Gaza Strip. Al-Jazeera has quoted medical sources as saying at least 640 Palestinians have been killed since Israel began its military operations in northern Gaza 17 days ago. The Israeli army claimed that about 30 rockets were fired from Lebanon to Israel on Monday afternoon. A state of emergency has been declared in Tel Aviv area after missile attack by Hezbollah. A report from Beirut said at least 13 people were killed, including an infant, in Israeli attack during last 24 hours till Thursday morning. Meanwhile, Hamas has named the new chief of the organization. In a statement, the group said the new chief's name will not be published due to strategic reasons. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said he wanted a swift return to peace in Ukraine and supported efforts for that. Modi made the remarks in talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the opening day of the BRICS summit in Russian city of Kazan. The Indian Prime Minister also said, "We have been in constant touch over the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We believe that disputes should only be resolved peacefully. We totally support efforts to quickly restore peace and stability," he added. One of the tightest U.S. election races of modern times enters its final two-week stretch Tuesday, with Republican Donald Trump making a special pitch to Latino voters as Democratic rival Kamala Harris sits down for a national network interview. Both campaigns are pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into a final push for any wavering, undecided voters who could tilt the balance in their favor, with polls consistently showing their candidates in a dead heat ahead of Election Day. Whatever the outcome, Americans will make history on November 5. They will elect the first woman president in the world's leading superpower, or they will put the first convicted felon into the White House. Polls appear to be giving Trump, who at 78 is the oldest nominee from a major party in U.S. history, a slight edge recently, but all within the margin of error, making them little comfort for a former president making his third consecutive White House run. Vice President Harris, who only threw herself into the race in July, when President Joe Biden made the stunning decision to drop out and endorse her instead, will give a television interview to NBC Today. A court in Peru has sentenced former President Alejandro Toledo to 20 years and 6 months in jail for corruption and money laundering. Prosecutors say he took $35 million in bribes from a Brazilian construction company, which was awarded a contract to build a road in southern Peru. Toledo, 78, was in office between 2001 and 2006. He was arrested 5 years ago in California, where he had lived and worked for many years, and extradited to Peru last year. The Brazilian company admitted paying millions of dollars in bribes to officials across Latin America and the U.S. to secure government contracts. Two other former Peruvian presidents, Pedro Pablo Kuczynski and Ollantayto Humala, are also being investigated in the Overbridge case. Two-day Abu General Assembly has started at Istanbul in Turkey today. The Assembly requested members and associate member countries of Asia-Pacific Broadcasting Union to strengthen it as an alternative intercontinental media platform to deal with various global and regional challenges, including Ukraine-Russia war, Israeli genocide in Gaza, and all incidents of human rights violations across the world. ABU Chairman and TRT General Director Dr. Mehmet Zahid Sobaki and ABU Secretary General Ahmed Nadim addressed the inaugural session of the Assembly. Addressing the inaugural session, Speaker said incidents of human rights violations are happening across the world as the major powerful countries and groups of the world community are prolonging the problems instead of solving those immediately. There is misinformation which are creating problems for all is knowing the truth. And for these reasons, Abu will have to come forward as an alternative global media platform against Western ideals and hegemony, they added. Along with this year's Abu General Assembly, the 60th anniversary of Turkey's public broadcasting organization, TRT, is jointly being celebrated. More than 200 broadcasters from 65 countries, including Bangladesh Television and Bangladesh Betar, participated in the Assembly of Abu. Abu General Assembly, as well as the meeting of Abu Presidency and Board of Directors, was held today. Discussions will be held on how artificial intelligence will impact the media in future during the two-day assembly. The government has decided to transport agriculture products by train from 15 regions of the country to reduce the price of vegetables. As part of this initiative, Bangladesh Railway has launched Vegetable Special Train for transporting vegetables and other agricultural products to Dhaka and other places from production areas at a lower cost for the consumers. The first special train left Khulna for Dhaka this morning. Besides, luggage vans will be added to the passenger trains running 6 days a week. Railway Secretary Abdul Baki revealed the information to Bangladesh television. He said 6 special trains will be operated every week in the railway's eastern and southern region. Abdul Baki said if demand increases, more luggage vans will be added to the trains. The fare has been fixed at 1 taka 80 paisa to 2 taka per kilogram vegetables. However, the challenge is to match the schedule of the train with the market time to Dhaka. However, the railway secretary said this time the railway will also tackle this challenge through some new plans. Market analysts said that the price of vegetables will decrease due to the low cost of transportation, and the city dwellers will get fresh vegetables due to vegetable special train. Now news on weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said rain or thunder showers is likely to occur at a few places over Khulna, Borishal and Rajshahi divisions and at 1 or 2 places over Rangpur, Dhaka, Mymensingh, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions. Night temperature may rise slightly and day temperature may fall slightly over the country, said the Met Office. Meanwhile, in a special weather bulletin, Met Office says the depression over East Central Bay of Bengal and adjoining North Andaman Sea intensified into a deep depression over East Central Bay of Bengal and adjoining area. It is likely to move west-northwesterly direction further and intensify into a cyclonic storm. Now news on sports. Bangladesh are trailing by 101 runs against South Africa at the stumps of the second day of Mirpur Test. At the end of the day, Bangladesh scored 101 runs for 3 wickets in the second innings. Opening Mahmood al-Hassan and Mushfiqur Rahim will start the third day with 38 and 31 runs respectively. Earlier, Mushfiqur Rahim became the first Bangladeshi batsman to score 6,000 runs in Test cricket. South Africa started the second day's play in the first innings with 140 runs for 6 wickets on the first day. The protest stopped at 308 in the first innings with a lead of 202 runs. Bangladesh scored 106 runs in the first innings. And now to end the bulletin, headlines once again. 252 trainees sub-inspectors at Police Academy in Sharda dismissed for breaching discipline, not for political reasons, says Home Advisor. Non-resident ambassador of Azerbaijan to Bangladesh calls on chief advisor while they discuss various issues including COP29 summit, energy, trade and business cooperation. Anti-discrimination student movement demands cancellation of existing constitution, resignation of president and ban on Chhatraleague. Special vegetables train launched today for transporting agriculture products to reduce influences of middlemen and wholesalers. Israeli attacks killed more than 40 Palestinians in Gaza and 13 in Beirut. State of emergency declared in Tel Aviv following Hezbollah's rocket attack. And Bangladesh trailed by 101 runs against South Africa at stumps on day 2 of Mirpur Test. And that's all from the newsroom for this moment. Thank you for staying with us and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.